Ding, fries are done. Would you like an apple pie with that? I know I used that last week, but I can't help it. It still makes me laugh.
Good evening, folks.
Hank, where have you been?
Where have I been?
Mr.
You never
Solo.
see Hank and the Kingpin in the same place.
I thought you were going to say you never see Hank and Pokeroo in the same place. Are you really the Pokeroo?
I might be.
Pokeroo.
I heard he had a heart attack.
The Pokeroo?
The Pokeroo. Unfortunately, at Ontario Place in front of a bunch of kids.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
It was a terrible, terrible day for
It was
Pokeroo.
probably a rental Pokeroo.
Maybe.
Hey,
Listen, even I was smart enough to figure out whoever the male host was that day was Pokeroo.
going out doing what you love, it sounds like, though.
How many different voices did Pokeroo actually have?
A few.
All
How
of them.
come Santa's eyes are blue this year and they were brown last year, Mommy?
Why does Santa smell like whiskey
Well,
and cigarettes?
it's 2021. You can't blame him.
The life of a mall Santa.
Yep.
Oh boy. So here we are. What oh my lord.
What are we talking about?
This? Today,
Welcome back to our Fandom Power Presents On Target,
yes, where
our
once
weekly
again,
dive into the latest episode of Marvel's Hawkeye, now streaming on Disney Plus.
Stay on target.
Yes.
I have a bad habit of drifting. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
We're about a week out from Christmas.
Yep, and we're also one episode away from the end of Hawkeye.
The big finale.
Yes, there's a lot to wrap up in that one. So
I thought there was some really interesting stuff that came out of this week's episode.
I'd say so.
If you were one of the lucky ones that got to see Spider-Man No Way Home this week, then you also know that there was a loose tie in there as well. So very exciting this week, but we're not going to get into that because we're here to talk about Hawkeye.
And, you know, give people a couple more weeks before we start spoiling.
Woo!
But anyway, big announcements coming out from Hasbro this week.
What do you got?
We've got a brand new wave of X-Men figures coming our way.
Oh, you know what? I did see this earlier this week.
The Build-A-Figure that's Bone Breaker.
Bone Breaker.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. Yes, the Reavers.
You mean the dude with the tank body?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I saw that and I'm like, I don't know who he is, but he's damn cool.
Yeah.
The
He
Reavers
goes
are
back
awesome.
to like the 80s. 80s at least, I
The
think.
whole storyline
Sure.
where the X-Men go through the Siege Perilous and with Gateway in Australia. It's
Oh,
really
okay.
cool. It's just at the end of the Chris Claremont run. Probably the last good X-Men story from the 90s.
Really? Okay.
I'm kind of disappointed with that Sabretooth, though. He is at least standing next to Wolverine. He looks smaller.
He looks a
than
little slim,
Wolverine.
eh?
He totally
Yeah.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
He might be
Uh,
standing a little forward there, so maybe it's not all lost.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, their feet aren't lined up.
Yeah. But
You know that that whole reuse thing, right? I mean, we just
Yes.
talked about how the toy companies like to
squeeze
squeeze
that mold.
every bit we can out of the mold. What was the other long running one? The Bucky Cap body was like
Yes.
the standard male body for how long?
It's probably still going.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at that Havoc. Now he's got a butterfly joint in there, but there might be some modification. I get maybe. I don't think the original Bucky Cap had that, but
But that's not all we got. We also got the Multiverse of Madness Doctor Strange wave announced as well.
surprised to see Mordo.
A little bit.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Mordo was coming back for this. I should have guessed it, but
Top left, heavy spoilers in top left there.
wow.
Heavy spoilers in the top
I don't know
left.
what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
Did anybody check out our So What review series on Marvel's What If? It might be a good
Hank's like
time.
Nostradamus.
Might be a good time to go back and revisit those.
For
Yeah,
sure.
man. Wicked.
But other than that, they did announce a couple more deluxe figures. I think there's a deluxe Doctor Strange coming, another Thor, and this guy.
That's a great looking.
What is with the retro Toy Biz packaging?
I don't know, but it's striking a nerve with me. It's
You're liking that, are you?
I'm digging this one. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good looking figure.
That's a great looking face sculpt, actually.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not a fan of the packaging, but again, packaging is exactly what it is to me. It's just
it's not going to be in there long.
it's the thing that goes in my recycling.
You know. But on with our show this week, I suppose.
Yeah.
This week's episode is titled Ronin, and it's got a runtime of 45 minutes. And once again, it's directed by Bert and Bertie.
I think the whole series is Bert and Bertie.
Not everyone. No, this is their
okay.
second of the series.
Well, then I completely missed that.
That's all good. This week's episode is written by Jenna Noel Frazier, and her previous work includes the 2018 Prime original series, The Romanovs.
I don't think I've seen that.
No relation.
Yeah.
So
Nicely done, sir.
yeah, we open this episode with another flashback, and this time to the year 2018, and we find Yelena Belova and another widow named Sonia, who is played by, I'm sorry for your name pronunciation here, Yasa Mai Panginaban, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can do any more just Isamai Pananaban.
I think so.
I'm so sorry. I can't stand butchering somebody's name, but if it's not told to me, I don't.
True.
I can't always get it. I'm so sorry.
But they're continuing their mission to free the other widows from the mind control that we saw them start on at the end of the Black Widow movie.
Yes.
And the current widow they're trying to save is named Anna, and she's played by Annie Hamilton.
Yep.
And the two widows, they quickly overpower her, and they hit her with the antidote. And once she's pinned down, they quickly administer it and see this one was kind of a waste, because when Anna gets up, she's more concerned about the $20,000 rug that now has a stain on it.
Yeah.
And they're like, were you not brainwashed? And she's like, no, I wasn't. I'm not some rich pervert's prisoner.
Yeah.
And it turns out she had just put her skills to use and was making hits for money, which afforded her this crazy lavish home. And the conversation, it turns to the future, and, what are you going to do once you've got them all free?
Right.
And Yelena, she's a bit overwhelmed by this and excuses herself. And she goes to the washroom, splashes some water on her face, and we find out that she was a victim of the snap.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In a major way, too.
Yeah. And it's really neat to see it from her perspective, because, like,
it's almost instantaneous.
Yeah. For her, like, she's gone, but not gone.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen the snap from that perspective yet.
From somebody who's been snapped.
We've seen
all the way through it and in real time.
Yeah.
We've all experienced that long gap between movies, right? So I don't think we've seen it this way. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, because like in Scarlet Witch and Vision, we see like the opposite end of it, where somebody comes back after the 5 years.
Yeah.
But it's
which quick. By the way, I just want to touch on this for a second, because as you say, it starts in 2018.
Yes.
So we can, in case anybody was confused as to where this show takes place, 2018 plus 5 years for the snap, plus 2 years for the duration between oh good lord, Endgame and now. Yeah. So that places Hawkeye square in the year 2025.
Well, I'm going to contradict that
at
the end of the show, because we do get a final substantial date on the whole thing.
Oh, is that right?
We do.
Did I miss something?
No, it's like blink and you'll miss it, because you gotta zoom up on it.
Oh, fair enough.
But Yelena, she comes out of it, and the room literally morphs around her.
Yeah.
And that was kind of weird for me, because like, I don't know if it's just like a perspective thing or what, but she goes on and comes back out, and
you're gonna think though there's some guy out there who got snapped, maybe just like this in their bathroom, and 5 years later it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't notice anything's different. Just walk out like, what happened?
Yeah.
But Yelena comes out, and she's overwhelmed, and she needs some explanation of what's going on. And when she comes out, she finds like this random dude and a kid in there.
Yeah.
And she's like, who are you? What's going on? And then we see Anna pop up from the background. She's like, oh, there you are. And
like it was nothing.
Yeah. Because, she's trying to help her out, and she's telling her, oh, this is what happened. And, you left in a bit different fashion than Sonya did 5 years ago. But
yeah.
That means she didn't get snapped.
Right.
And while Anna is trying to help her adapt, she's just getting overwhelmed. And she realizes, I got to find Natasha. I need to know where she is, and I got to let her know I'm okay.
Well, then that whole sequence, does that not lend itself to the final moments of the Black Widow movie?
A little bit.
It gives a little more oomph to the visit to the grave.
Yeah. So, she's asking for help, and then we jump into our trademark Marvel opening with the logo and all the scenes from the cinematics and whatnot. And once we're past that, we get it's a bit weird, because we get a previously on, to summarize
I know, that's
what's
weird.
going up. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
why not jam that at the beginning? But whatever.
Sure.
We catch up with Kate, who has returned to her mother's apartment, and she's feeling a bit defeated. Clint just gave her the boot, basically.
Yeah, the whole we're not partners, we never were.
Yeah, the get out of here, puppy, I never loved you.
Yeah.
But we enter, and Eleanor's a bit taken aback because, Kate's sporting a few new bumps and bruises from that rooftop skirmish.
Right.
And she shows some actual concern. And she's like, was this Clint's fault? And Kate says, no, Clint protected me.
Yeah.
But then he told me to go home and stay away from him, which, a side note to point out here, there is genuine concern in her eyes when Kate shows up.
Yep.
And like, she's got tears welling up at the thought of Kate in trouble.
I mean, look at the scene where she said, can I walk you out?
Yeah.
And I mean, the ultimatum of, essentially stay away from my daughter.
Basically.
I mean, yeah, she was genuinely concerned, but then
after Kate tells her what Clint said, go away, those tears, they dry up pretty quick.
We've been saying all along, I've been asking repeatedly, do we think there was something more sinister going on with Eleanor?
Yes.
And we're going to find that out later on in this episode. But that just on that note, does that not add a whole new layer of where her concern comes from? Who's she more concerned for?
True.
Kate or herself?
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They share a hug, and Eleanor gets to patching her up. And again, Eleanor asks, does Clint think you're a superhero?
Yeah.
And she says, no, and I don't either. I just want to help people.
That's right. Yeah.
And, nothing wrong with that. Kate questions her mother, you regret buying me my first bow now? And sarcastically, she's like, yep. But no, adorable with that bow.
Yeah.
So, and they both see the bow hanging up their trophy on the wall. And she goes on to tell her that, the path of life is long and winding. And the important thing is to keep moving forward. And there's a spark of hope that kind of reignites in Kate's eyes here.
Yep.
When she ponders, the thought, I thought I could be one of the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
So she then asks,
spoiler.
Yeah. She asks her mom if she ever worries that Kate wouldn't find her path, but Eleanor reassures her, you will. And it's at this point, Kate finally has her ear long enough to tell her, I've been looking into Armand's murder, and Clint and I have uncovered some incriminating evidence, and it's concerning Jack. You need to look into it. And Eleanor, she finally promises, I will. But then she sends Kate out. She's like, go get your stuff and come back here.
Yeah.
And then we flip scenes back to the apartment of Maya Lopez. And we find, Qazi. He's in the role of Patch Up over here.
Oh, yeah.
And he and Maya, they talk a little bit about the hunt for Ronin and how it's got to stop. And she's determined, though. And Qazi agrees, okay, fine. I'll help you catch him and kill him, but then we're done. And she kind of like, all right, fine.
Do you think at this point that he's twitched to the idea that she's getting too close to maybe some of his secrets?
Not at this point, no. But she will be by the end of the episode.
Well, we know that.
Yeah. Across the city, though, Kate shows up at the burnt remains of her apartment and surveys the damage. Kate notices one of the windows is open again, and somebody behind her calls out, Kate Bishop. And
just matter of factly,
it's lightning fast. She lobs a bottle of hot sauce at the voice, and it's caught, and it is Yelena.
Yeah.
And this scene kicks off. It's such a weird vibe, but I love her. She's like, hi, I made macaroni if you want some.
Oh, the whole mac and cheese thing. I was just like,
yeah,
you just tried to kill me, and now you want to have mac and cheese?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the whole exchange is tense but fun, and Florence Pugh's performance, it instantly warms you up to the character of Yelena, even though she's still holding the air of that deadly assassin.
I mean, it's no secret that going forward, and I don't mean to say it this way, but she is our replacement Black Widow,
She
right?
is.
So, I mean, is she going to get a feature appearance?
I hope so.
I would suspect that she will in some way.
Based on the Black Widow movie and how far she comes in this episode, like, she's a likable character.
Yeah, yeah.
She can fight. She's got all the tools that she needs.
Did you guys catch the thing with her and with Instagram?
Where she got banned?
Yeah, she got her own, taken a photo of her getting taken down.
Yeah, because she said, I'm in the show and I want to tell people I love the show. But
weird.
Kate, totally weird. Kate asks her, what do you want? And Yelena insists, I'm only here to talk. And when Kate responds, I'm not about to sit down and have dinner with someone who just tried to kill me. Yelena, she's like, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
And the face on her is priceless.
Oh, yeah.
And, as we saw last episode, she indeed did not try and kill her. She clipped her in before throwing her over the edge just to remove her from the fight.
Yeah, I mean, and that was, I think that was fairly clear to us as the viewing audience.
Yeah. I mean, it was a fast move, yes.
Oh, yeah.
But you still heard the click. You still saw the line.
Yeah.
And you saw the follow-up when Clint looks over. But we do get some great beats here from Yelena as she tells Kate, I'm not going to hurt you. I don't have any weapons on me.
Right.
Which she instantly takes back and says, well, I don't have any weapons in my hand.
Oh, yeah. She's looking at
like,
the bite.
Yeah. And she's like, well, that's a lie too. But Kate arrives at the conclusion that she's not going to kill her because she would have done so, before she even got past the door.
Right.
And reluctantly, she sits down and joins her for some macaroni.
Yeah.
They never name the macaroni, though.
What are you thinking?
Mac and cheese. I would think Kraft dinner, but
in America, it's called Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese, yeah.
Macaroni and cheese.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you done with that? I'm going to put hot sauce on it now. Are you done with that?
We'll get to the hot sauce in a second here. But we cut across the city and we see Clint stopping by to pay Grills a visit and regroup. And he shows up and all the time, like as he's walking up, we hear that Christmas Time is Here from the 1965 Peanut special.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown.
Yes.
And that's like the most depressing Christmas song there is.
It's true. It is.
It is. Grills is kind of taken aback with Clint being all banged up as he is, fresh from his battle, but invites him in and closes the door. And this is kind of a theme this episode because we jump back and forth a whole lot.
Right.
Like constantly. And right now we're going to flip back to Kate's apartment.
With the Grills, do you think that his character arc has run its course for this?
No, I think he's still got some legs left in him.
I think so as well. I mean, we kind of suspected that right from the beginning that he was going to be, at some point, he was going to be pivotal in the...
not just a throwaway kid.
Yeah.
But, he's got more.
And not as a LARPer.
Maybe incorporating some LARPer skills, though?
Possibly.
But,
possibly.
Yeah. We find Kate, back there, and she's had her fill of the macaroni and leaves the rest for Yelena, who proceeds to gleefully load it up with hot sauce.
Right.
And if we catch it at the right angle, you do find out it is sriracha.
It is a classic.
It is. And down to business, Kate asks her, what do you want? And Yelena tells her, it's my first time in New York. And even though it's a business trip, there's still some stuff I want to see.
Yep.
Like the Empire State Building, Rockefeller Center, and the new improved Statue of Liberty.
Yes, new and improved.
Yes. So, she's kind of like...
Wes.
She's right out of assassin mode. And but the last part there, the Statue of Liberty, that should raise some eyebrows.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but in the
I
marketing,
wouldn't even call this a spoiler because right in the trailer for No Way Home.
Well, I was going to say you can see the scaffolding around the statue.
Yeah, and if you zoom in, you do see that is
Lady
Liberty now
there
holding
she is.
the shield.
Yeah.
So they declare her.
And it's really cool. I have seen the movie, and it's really cool the way they handle it. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on the sign there, you can see she's been dubbed, America's newest Avenger.
Yeah.
And we do also know from the trailer that chances are after the events of Spider-Man is going to need a second facelift. But back at the table, Yelena and Kate, they chat back and forth about what sites to take in, what sites to see. But things tense right up when Kate asks her, are you still calling me my name to let me know that you know it? And she sincerely answers, yes.
Yeah.
She's done her homework and she knows all about Kate.
It's showing empathy. That's what it is.
Even recent events, and she's like, I saw you rushed into traffic to save a dog, and that earns points in my book.
Yeah.
But down to the matter, Kate asks her, are you here to talk to Clint? And she's like, no, I'm here to kill him.
Yeah.
And she goes like,
and suddenly it's all business.
Yes. Yeah. And then Yelena goes on to ask, why has everyone forgiven his past? And when Kate says, well, he saved the world, Yelena's like, no, my sister, Natasha Romanoff, saved the world.
Yeah.
And then, Yelena continues. She tries to make Kate question her view of Clint, citing the number of people he's killed and the trail of blood that follows him.
There's something going on there too. We talked about it, I think, last week. The general consensus that the public at large does not know
about his activities of Ronin,
and they don't know the fate of Natasha Romanoff, like how she met her demise.
Yeah, because her tombstone's fairly hard to find.
Yeah,
but it gets fairly emotional bringing up the subject of Natasha, and she's like, was she just collateral damage?
Oh yeah.
She wasn't that. Well, he was just saving the world, and it shouldn't be too hard for Yelena to complete this assignment, and that causes Kate to go, wait, somebody hired you?
Yeah.
What are their motives? Because she still thinks Clint's a good guy.
Yep.
And you can tell Yelena, she's given this notion a little bit of thought, but she goes on to say, no matter what people think, it's our actions that define us.
Oh yeah.
And Yelena, she sincerely thanks her, thank you for the girls' night. But don't get in my way.
Well, yeah.
And then, makes her way up to that broken window and quickly jumps out using that little zip line.
That same, the backward swan dive, I guess you could call it. Yeah.
Getting those trademark hero jumps and poses down.
Yeah.
But back across town then, back at Grill's apartment, he and Clint are enjoying some pizza, as is our one-legged friend. And
our one-legged friend
or one-eyed friend.
One-eyed. I'm like, one leg. What happened to the dog?
Nothing.
Oh my God. Did I see something you guys didn't?
No, I just screwed up. But
they still never. Oh no, she did. She did come out with Lucky.
Not yet.
Did she not call him Lucky yet? Oh, just pizza dog
so far.
Yeah. But Clint thanks him and says, could you watch the dog for a couple more days? The hotel I'm going to be at doesn't allow pets.
Yeah.
And Grills, he protests. He's like, no, you can't be staying in a hotel at Christmas.
Right.
You gotta stay here. I mean, take my couch, take my bed. He's like, no, couch will do.
Right. Can we just leave that up for a second? Because there's a thing that came up here. We can see Clint's bow leaning up against the wall in the background.
Yes.
And notice that it's wrapped in tape. The grip, the hand grip is all taped up. I saw a thing online, I don't know, it was a week ago or so, that somebody was trying to say that was the bow that got broken in Germany during Civil War, and that somehow he just taped it up. And I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no way that, hockey tape is going to repair that thing.
No.
No. It
on top of that, he's getting those trick arrowheads.
That's true.
Chances are he has access to another replacement retractable bow.
But it still doesn't explain, of all the bows we've seen Hawkeye wield, why is this one, at least to my knowledge, the only one that the grip is taped?
Increased gription?
I don't know. I know it's a minor thing. I was just curious.
We may find out yet. But, wearily, Clint, he kind of slumps on the couch and Grills pops right up and he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, Missy dropped by with the 2 new outfits. You want to see them?
Right.
And Clint's like, yeah, I do, but just not right now.
Which is kind of funny because the marketing has already spoiled both suits.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're going to see them at some point.
Yeah.
They're just making us.
I mean, and I don't mind waiting, and maybe because of the marketing spoil, it's like, oh, we're going to get to that. It's just a matter of time. So it's not really crucial to the plot.
No, I wouldn't say so yet.
No.
By the end of it, he'll have his branding figured out.
His branding issue will be sorted.
Yes. But next morning, we go back to Kate, and she arrives at her mother's home to find Jack about to be let out in handcuffs. And Eleanor says, I looked into Jack, and Jack maintains his plucky, upbeat manner through the whole thing. Oh, it's just a big misunderstanding. And I would have called the cops in the same fashion.
The whole, I don't blame you.
Yeah. And then, as they take him out, he declares, I've been framed, but I'll clear it up. And I'll be home in time for the Christmas party. And the smile on him as he leaves is just devious.
It's greasy. Can I say that? Greasy?
I think so.
It's greasy.
It's as greasy as his cheesy stash.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I'll be right back, and then I'll deal with you.
Yeah.
But Elsewhere in the city, we find Clint in front of a memorial plaque at Pershing Square Plaza, which is the site of the New York battle in 2012.
Yep.
And one thing to point out on this, the line at the bottom of this plaque says NYC Historical Cultural Moment number 325.
Oh, really? So these things are all over the place then?
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be 325 moments, but it could link up to something else.
What are you thinking?
Well, Avenger, it's a weird thought, and it might be it is influenced by a couple of things I saw.
Okay.
Because somebody pointed out Avengers 325.
Yeah.
In that issue, Cersei throws a party at the Avengers mansion.
Okay.
In which a bunch of villains brainwash all the waitstaff to kill the heroes and their guests.
Oh.
And with a party, looming on the horizon, could be foreshadowing or it could be nothing.
Oh.
So
a Christmas party full of villains.
Possibly.
I can see where that's going. Sure.
But, it's, I don't know, loose connection at this point.
Yeah.
Back to Clint, though, he removes his hearing aid and he starts, I need to talk to you, Natasha. And I guess this is the only place he could go to do it, but tells her, you were always the best of us and you were stubborn and strong.
Yeah.
And you always had to win, and all for a stupid orange rock. And we know the stupid orange rock is the Soul Stone.
The Soul Stone, yeah.
This may be the first time Clint has actually spoken out loud about what happened.
It's the first time that he's openly. I've talked repeatedly about his survivor guilt, which he clearly is displaying.
Oh, totally.
But I mean, this is a very outward expression of that.
Yeah. He goes on to tell her that I miss you every day, and every day I try to do the best to earn what you gave me.
Yeah.
And I'm also really sorry for what I'm about to do, because she got him out of the Ronin life.
Yeah, I mean, that ties right back into his line about Natasha Romanoff stopped him.
Yeah.
Stopped the Ronin, I should say.
Yeah. Right.
And then again, we're going to shift gears here, because back with Kate.
I actually thought for a moment when he said that he was going to go on another killing spree.
Or at least maybe one to end it.
Yeah,
that's what I thought he meant. Yeah, I'm about to whack your sister. I'm sorry, I'm about to kill your sister to end this.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
maybe. But back with Kate, she sits up on her bed and she takes a look around, and we see trophies and medals and awards of all types.
Yep.
And you get the impression, at least, you see the gears turning in her head, and she realizes, she's been working her whole life.
Yeah, the whole I've worked too hard not to go through with this.
Yeah, she's not done.
Yeah.
And then we also get a cork board, and this is where I say the date comes in, because there's a flyer there for the Bishop holiday party taking place December 24th, 2024.
2024.
So spot on the timeline is cemented.
So it's only like 1 year later then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I don't know where Spider-Man falls in the timeline.
Well, somebody had said now, and I can't quote the source on this because I don't know, but they said it is the furthest away from. No, that's not true. 2 years? 2? It's literally okay. So Spider-Man literally picks up exactly where Far From Home. Like it's literally like the one movie ends, the next one roll. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah. So wherever No Way Home fits in or Far From Home, they're concurrent.
All right. Also point out here, there is a little flyer or something of Clint that says hero worship. So you know where her head was at some point.
Sure.
Right.
But she's not done, and
that's her version of Tiger Beat pictures all over her wall, right?
Yeah, she
goes back streets back. All right.
That's her Donny Osmond.
There you go. She goes on and excuse me. She goes on to call Clint, who doesn't answer, and she goes on a bit of a montage here where she's just leaving a message after message relaying
like the crazy girlfriend.
I was gonna say, anybody had the crazy ex-girlfriend before?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Crazy line of
doing a little bit of venting in there too. And
I'm surprised that there wasn't in the montage that it wasn't a mix of phone calls and text messages.
Well, if you got the text messages, you wouldn't get to the full mailbox.
That's so true.
But there's been developments on the Jack front, and she wants to discuss it. And during the one message, we see her kind of taking responsibility for her missteps, but she reasserts, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And as she does this, we see that she's still practicing with that small ornament.
Yes.
And we get a great comedic beat here because off screen we hear her when she launches it, something smash across the room.
Yeah. And the look on her face.
Yeah. Oh shit. But she keeps making phone calls until finally the mailbox is like, it's full. You can't do it.
Right.
And then, frustration, she slams the phone down, and then we cut again and we catch up with Ivan and Tomas.
Yep.
And they're driving the Trust a Bro truck, and we hear them rocking out to Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC.
Yeah.
And both of them agreeing, and rightfully so. This is a classic.
But you and I know, well, you and I on our other life as toy guys, driving around toy hunting, listening to this.
Yes. But, they go on to, or at least Tomas does, starts bringing up, we could be like other ones. And
yeah,
he's like, do we look like the Royal Tenenbaums to you?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. But as they round, there you go. Tracksuit Sopranos.
Yeah.
As they round a corner discussing why they don't see people using brass knuckles anymore, we get a bit of shock and terror as an arrow comes right through the windshield, and he screams like a girl.
It's
like,
almost the Ned Flanders.
Yes, almost Ned level. But it turns out it's only a message arrow, and a little side thing pops open, and Ivan pulls out the message, and turns out it's an invite for Maya to meet alone where she first met the Ronin.
Yeah.
And, pretty ominous since they don't know it's Clint.
But that tells you something, that because in that sequence where we observe from Maya's point of view, we observe her observing him. That tells us that he had an awareness that she was there, which I didn't get from that sequence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's basically chasing him through the shadows as he moves.
I suppose so.
But, we cut back and find Clint strolling across a very familiar intersection.
Yeah.
And we get another mouse sighting.
Oh, yeah, well.
So he's in there again.
Shameless promotion.
Yep. But there's other signage going on here in the background, like Kia and T-Mobile and Lion King, and something called The Recession 2. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like a music album or another one of those weird future predictions.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Clint, he goes to make a phone call to Laura and goes on to tell her that, things have just kept building. And Maya had access to the watch, and somebody hired a Black Widow. And Laura goes on to tell Clint, they've been so careful. They're so far away.
Yeah.
Clint states it's not far enough. It's never far enough.
No.
So again, we're thinking, could this watch be Laura's?
Last week, Hank, we talked extensively about the watch, and we'd at one point we had surmised possibly Tony Stark, but then we get the line from Clint where he says it's a retired friend.
Right.
Any predictions on that? Who the watch might belong to?
Oh well. I mean, I was thinking. Oh my goodness, my brains. I was thinking Nick Fury actually, and by retired, there's just a few. I think she's a Skrull. I actually think she's a Skrull. There's something else going on there too. If she's not a Shield agent, I'd be crazy disappointed. But I actually think it's Nick Fury's watch, and I think that's
interesting. And
because of in the Steve where's Steve Rogers in the way,
yeah,
he's doing moon stuff. Where's Nick Fury? He's on the moon with Steve Rogers. That running gag. And then some. Everybody watched Spider-Man. Then I think it's definitely Nick Fury's watch, but it might be on the cusp. I don't know what the trends are and what people are saying online because I haven't read much about it. So.
Nick Fury, I think, came up on our short list as well.
Yeah.
I had actually said possibly Steve Rogers because, I mean, if the general public knew that Steve Rogers was still alive and he was an old man, that he could be exploited that way.
Oh, sure.
I also surmised at one point, could it possibly be, and we talked about another connection here when we got the big on the nose, the Pym arrow. Is Hank Pym now the financier of the Avengers? And could it be a watch that was given to to Hank? Could it be Hank Pym's watch?
That's a good bet too. I would think that they probably will go with that sort of, if I had any beefs about the first couple of waves of the MCU, and they're so minor, that's that a lot of things that are actually Hank Pym's fault. At the same time, Hank Pym's idea are all attributed to Tony Stark in the MCU. So
sure.
If Hank Pym starts to get his shine a little, it wouldn't bother me at all. I love that character. Actually.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Another one that was speculated last week was that Laura might actually be Mockingbird.
I heard that as well.
Yeah,
and that it could be.
And
hers,
I don't know enough about the character to really speculate on that.
Yeah, based on the whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. connection, Bobby Morse has appeared, and like you said, maybe it's a thing like the Widows.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of Mockingbirds.
Yeah, that Mockingbird is a title, not a name.
Yeah. But we'll find out.
Well, she certainly is way more knowledgeable about Clint's activities than you would expect I know they're married and there are things you tell your wife that you don't tell other people, but when your life is like, it goes, being an Avenger, never mind being an Avenger, being an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of goes beyond secret agent stuff.
Yeah. And she's never once like, you've got to stop this. This is crazy. Come back to she's always like, yeah, I got you. Yes, you do.
Whatever you got to do.
I know what you know. Go ahead and kill somebody. Certainly.
Yeah.
Because like Clint goes on to say, if it doesn't end tonight, it's just a matter of time until the big guy gets involved.
Yes, the big guy again.
Another possible reference to the Kingpin.
And we've all seen those spy movies where the deepest cover is you actually have a whole friggin' family with somebody.
Yeah.
It's the deepest level of cover.
Yeah, with True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, really.
Right.
The double what?
Yep.
What?
Laura tells him, follow your gut and do what you got to do. And, she'll understand more than anyone else ever could.
I think that's the line that sealed it for me. The more than anyone else could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they say their goodbyes. And as they're saying their goodbyes, we actually get a cut where he's retrieving the Ronin suit from the locker that it was stashed in.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Maya, who is waiting in the car lot of Fat Man Used Cars. And we do get a very clear picture of the sign this year, confirming what we thought last episode.
Yes, there was no hiding it this time.
No, it is there in full display.
Oh, yeah.
And, another Kingpin reference thrown in our face. But we also see that Maya didn't come alone, as per the note, because Qazi is perched up there on the sign with a rifle.
Right.
And as Maya's waiting, we see multiple members of the tracksuits moving between cars in the shadows. And Qazi, he's scanning the area with his scope. And before he knows it, the Ronin sword is upside his head. And it's already too late for him. He takes notice of it, tries to talk his way out, but he receives a swift and brutal strike to the head, knocking him out.
But he lives another day.
He does. So, Clint was true, and he said, I don't want anyone else to die.
Doesn't want anyone else to die.
But Ivan and Thomas, they're making their way through the lot, and Thomas gets yanked under a truck and eliminated.
Yeah.
And one by one, each of the tracksuits gets taken out, but it's got a very Batman-ish vibe to it going on here.
I couldn't agree with you more on that.
Here's one getting picked off this way, another one going that way.
You're almost waiting for that. Where are you?
Yeah, basically. I think we get that though from Maya.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way, because she's on high alert now, and she empties a clip, just chasing shadows around.
Yeah, indiscriminately spray and pray.
Yeah, but with her gun now empty, the Ronin, he steps out of the shadows, and it's like a tense moment right out of a kung fu movie.
Oh, big time.
Close up on the eyes and then back and forth. But then, they don't take too long, and they jump right into it, and it's a pretty even fight back and forth.
I was actually surprised at how well that I actually expected her to, I know it's his story. That's why it's called Hawkeye, but I half expected her to hand his butt to him.
Well, I think if they didn't stop to talk in the middle of it, she really would have.
Very.
Because, as they're battling back and forth here, she literally takes the sword off him and cuts him.
Yeah.
But, pretty quick, he knocks it out of her hand and finally gets the upper hand by landing a kick on her.
He's also in sort of a different mode here. Like, he's less restrained compared to when he's an Avenger.
Certainly the whole sequence in Endgame or when he's doing his Ronin thing and he's like indiscriminately just tearing through those Yakuza gang members.
He looks like Wolverine. He's a fully trained
ninja.
Yeah,
big time.
And I think that he may be holding back in this fight a little bit too. It's a hybrid of the fighting styles.
Yeah.
Because they continue their dance until finally Ronin lands that one decisive kick, knocking her down and giving him enough time to recover the sword. And now with him standing over her, he's got her dead to rights.
The other thing about her, we talked about going back, even as far back as the Disney Plus day when we were sort of exploring all the properties, and we were reading about the Maya Lopez character and sort of how her power is based on mimicry.
Yes.
And it looks like they're almost being, like, as far as live television is concerned, I get the impression that they're being a little more reserved with her. Like, she's a very capable fighter, but I don't see her, matching blow for blow like we had read about.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that's maybe something that they're going to hold on to for her own series, for the Echo series? Or
certainly when she comes head to head against Taskmaster and they have the same abilities,
there is that,
right? Yeah, and I think maybe they might just keep some things in the pocket, right?
Yeah.
Well, here, talking about Taskmaster for a second, were we not all under the impression that Taskmaster was going to make an appearance in this series?
Yeah, I was. I'm
we've only got
not convinced.
Me as well, and with only one episode left, I mean, there's not a whole lot of real estate left to build on.
No, not a lot of runway.
And still wrap up all of our dangling plot threads. So
there seem to be like more every episode.
That's right. Yeah.
But instead of going for the kill here, he unmasks.
Yeah,
and he showing her that it's actually Clint Barton. And Maya, she's like, "Why'd you do that? So I could watch you while you kill me?" And he's like, "No." And between signing and lip reading, he delivers this warning, if you or anyone else comes after me and my family, it'll be the last thing you do.
Yeah, and you know what? When he says that,
there is conviction in that line.
I believe him.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Jeremy Renner. You convinced me, and I will never mess with you, ever.
But he goes on to tell them, we're the same. She disagrees, but he stands firm. We're both weapons. And when we're full of rage, it makes us blind. And we can be used and manipulated.
It's it's almost like an extension of the conversation he had with Kate, where he's like, "I'm not a hero, I'm a weapon. I was just pointed in the right direction."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on to tell her, the night I was there, I was tipped off by an informant who works for your boss.
Yep.
And she's lip reading and reading the signs at this point, and she instantly denies it. No.
Oh yeah. But her, I mean, does her facial expression not kind of like go, "Oh," like, "Oh, you know there's somebody else"?
I don't know. I see a lot of rage in her face.
I do as well.
Because at the prospect of somebody in the organization, it goes boiling over, and she kicks the leg right out from under him.
Yeah.
And quicker than a hiccup, she's got the sword and she's ready to end him.
Yes.
But just in the nick of time, we get the save, and Maya turns around to see Kate's on the roof with a bow.
Yep.
And she's got another one ready to lob at her. And, from last episode, we already know that Kate's put one in her already.
Well, I mean, wasn't there already that talking about I know it's a running line throughout the show, but like one of the greatest archers ever?
Yes.
And didn't Clint actually, maybe you are?
Yep.
Yeah.
But, she turns around and finds the sword's gone. And so is Clint. So, with much to consider, she jumps on the bike, makes her getaway, and Kate then goes after Clint. And she catches up with him pretty quick and finds him in the alley.
Yes.
And, she's like, "Do you want to know how I found you?" He's like, "You tracked my phone, didn't you?" And she's like, "Yes." But then he's like, "You got an escape plan for this rescue?" And at the end of the alleyway, we find like an Uber driver.
Oh,
or something.
I know. You called an Uber?
Yeah.
That's awesome, actually.
The driver's like, "Are you Tabitha?" And she's like,
"Yeah."
"Yep."
Use a fake name and everything. Yeah.
Yep. So they hop in and they're on their way. And
I actually thought that, given her age or the age that they're trying to portray her at, I'm like, that is the perfect escape plan for somebody, who's that old, who's grown up in the urban sprawl. Like, of course you just call an Uber. They don't need to know what we're doing.
Nope. They don't ask questions, just pay them. But again, we're jumping, and elsewhere we are what we can assume is probably a fallback point. And Maya is waiting for Qazi as he rolls up.
Yeah.
And Qazi hops out. He's glad to see her alive and embraces her and tells her, Ronin came out of nowhere. But she's like stone-faced in this.
Yeah, she's definitely playing from a different hand now.
Yeah, because, reeling from that thought that there might have been an informant, she flat out asks him, why weren't you at the meeting the night my father was killed?
That's got to send, he's got to be like tingling in the back of his neck now, like, what?
Yeah, but he plays it off like nothing. And she's like, you were Dad's number 2 guy. You were in town. Why didn't you go?
Yeah.
And he's just like, I didn't get the call. And then he's like, what is this? And she's like, nothing's wrong. And, we all know that when a woman says nothing is wrong, something is definitely wrong.
Yeah.
And, she proceeds to hop on the bike and leave him alone with his thoughts. But his body language suggests, is he worried about what Maya knows? And was he the informant?
Well, so maybe he should be.
We'll see, I guess, by the end of the next episode.
Oh, yes.
Back in the cab, we find Clint and Kate, and they're going over the looming threats that they face, like the woman on the roof, who Clint is like less than shocked to find out is the sister of Natasha.
Right.
And as they exit the vehicle and walk down the street, they do this little, it's kind of like really subtle, but they pass the arrow.
Oh, yes. I definitely noticed that. He hands it off to her.
And so, symbolic to say the least. But again, we're going to jump and we find Eleanor, who is being tracked by Yelena. And she's keeping her distance, but we see Eleanor is heading into this huge building.
I'm sitting there watching this and thinking, like, how many times have we questioned, is there something going on with her? And then you're like, oh.
Yeah, because this place is like, very expensive looking. And as Eleanor heads in, Yelena's still on the street and she's staring upward. So it's super tall. But we leave them for a minute and we go back to the apartment of Grills and we see that he's taught Pizza Dog a new trick and he's got him dancing on the floor.
Yeah.
But when Kate tries to get him to do it, he only shakes a paw. So
lost in translation.
Yeah. So they're enjoying their breakfast and Kate remarks, see, Grills is cool. He can cook, he can LARP, he can put out fires.
Yeah.
But the whole pleasant morning vibe changes because Kate receives a text.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's from an unknown number, but turns out it's Yelena, and she's found out who hired her, and it's Kate's mom, Eleanor. But that's not all, because she sent a photo as well.
Oh, yes.
And we don't get to see it yet, but she passes it to Clint, and Clint looks at it, and in a very somber tone, he says, that's the guy I've been worried about all along.
Yep.
And then he says the name, Kingpin.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know about you.
Chill down my spine when he said it.
Yep. I don't know about you guys, but I, like how sports fans yell at their TV when things happen.
Yeah,
I may or may not have done that.
Well.
Yeah, it was like I knew it, but everybody knew it, but it didn't matter because we wanted it so bad.
That's right, we did.
And not only is he finally here, but it's Vincent frickin' D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
So this opens up a whole world of possibilities. Rumors about the new Spider-Man movie aside, the Netflix world is now technically fully connected to the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Is it or isn't it? I mean, we can say it is, and we can say it isn't.
I can say it is.
I would like to think that they're. See, for me, this is how I approach it. I would like to think that much like some of our favorite Star Wars properties have pulled from previous, like from Legends and brought it forward.
Yeah.
No explanation needed. They just brought it forward. And I think that that's the case here. Like Vincent D'Onofrio is the Kingpin and probably has always been the Kingpin in the MCU. We just never saw him before.
It's possible.
I mean, they reference the MCU movies in those Netflix shows.
They did, subtle,
yeah. But they referenced the event and they referenced the Battle of New York and
I mean, Kevin Feige had gone so far as to say that if when Daredevil turns up in the MCU, he said that he will be played by Charlie Cox.
They literally, the story I heard was that they put pressure on Netflix to end the characters because the shows because they needed this. There's a 3-year clause.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Where they weren't allowed to use the characters. Right? Or the actors signed the contracts. So I had read that Disney put pressure on, and that's why the shows that were really, really chugging along, like Punisher and Daredevil, seemed to got clipped for no reason to us.
Yeah.
But it was actually Disney going, "Hey, we want these characters really bad. Stop what you're
Right.
doing now, so we can have them. You know, and
Pay
they probably paid a fair.
I was going to say, if I was Netflix, you can pay me a lot of money and I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And Disney
So
went,
I mean, don't be
I'll make a check
surprised to
if you
see
want.
Jessica Jones show up in the She-Hulk movie,
Oh,
and don't be surprised to see the other two fellas show up at some point in MCU shows as well.
Do I think there's room for Iron Fist to show up? Really, when you could go one of two ways. I mean, you've got the whole Comartage thing with Doctor Strange. That's a perfect way to fit those characters, to fit in Iron Fist. Shang-Chi's out now. Another way that you can fit in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, Luke Cage just comes along for the ride.
Yeah.
Well, and this is it. Yeah. And Luke Cage, I mean, if you really want to get into the sort of if we're going to dip into Daredevil and stuff of that nature,
Sure, yeah.
getting into the gritty crime stuff, Luke Cage just sort of set himself up as the kingpin of Harlem.
Yes, he very much did. Yeah.
Right, when we got, you know, so if they pick up those storylines, they were great. There was, you know, they were pretty good. I think I prefer my Iron Fist done a little differently, but other than that, I didn't really have many complaints about the Netflix show.
It'll be funny seeing if they double and I know they won't because this is kind of haha, but to see oh my lord, the actor who played Cottonmouth.
Oh,
right. Is your new Blade.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
that's right.
Mahershala Ali.
Double dip there, no.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Sony, Disney, it would be kind of a fight.
But, you know, I know all we get here is like a blurry little cell phone picture. But if there's any doubt about
it was good enough for me.
Yeah. If there's any doubt, though, you know, twice in the credits.
Well, there you go.
D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to close out the episode, we get an unmistakable silhouette. And the city skyline is now, you know.
I actually thought that was a very nice touch, that it's very comic booky.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So
do we think so I know we've only got one episode left, and I know that you know, I know they're saving, that they're working up to building what's the name of the team? Not Young Avengers, but
West Coast?
Yeah, the West Coast thing. Do we think Victoria is involved in this at all?
Don't know.
As in
Victoria Hand?
Yeah.
Well, it's possible.
I still think that she's somewhere
towards the Thunderbolts too.
Right. Yeah.
Entirely possible.
For sure.
Yes.
I think that's probably, yeah. We're gonna get multiple groups. So we're looking at a really broad spectrum thing here, especially if you believe half the logos they've put out as shows that are coming.
Oh my God, yeah,
possibly coming. So it goes pretty deep, and for years and years to come. So sorry, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. You too, Ridley.
Yeah. These, doesn't seem like it's going to end anytime soon.
No.
Well, certainly this week's episode was a really cool infusion of fan service and really drove the plot forward.
Yep.
We've got one episode left. It's episode 6 coming up here in just a couple of days. And I don't know, guys, what do you think about what we're going to wrap up on?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really out of it as well. I'm not really sure.
It's great to not have any expectations with this one. I'm already blown away by it. First of all, I thought it was going to be starring Alan Alda and be a MASH sequel. So when I was quite surprised that it was actually a superhero show. And no, I'm pleasantly surprised. I really like the character of Kate Bishop. Actually, it's regardless of whether you want to gender bend or whether you want to, do something, try to break a mold.
Sure,
it's very difficult, especially with men in their 40s who have read the comics and liked the properties for so long. It's hard for us to sometimes accept these characters, no matter how good they are. And Kate Bishop is top notch. She's a fantastic character, and I'm glad she's got the mantle of Hawkeye.
I'm just going to touch on that a little bit more. I'm going to add to what you're saying, Hank, because I really think a lot of what makes Kate Bishop likable is Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen her in Bumblebee, I mean, she might be the best part of Bumblebee. She's so good in that. And I see a lot of the same mannerisms in Bumblebee come through in Kate Bishop, and it just makes her really likable. So hats off to you, Haley. You're a fantastic actor.
Yep. So a lot of ground left to cover in that final episode, but
yeah, I mean,
we don't have to wait too long for it.
No. And so
that's our episode this
any
week.
more before we sign off, guys?
Oh, not too much.
I would say thank you for sticking with us through so far 4 episodes of our show and 5 episodes of Hawkeye. As I said, this is going to take us right up until you're going to have a 1-week gap because next week is the final episode, and then we're right into the book of Boba Fett. So for all the Star Wars fans out on our platforms, please do join us for that because we're looking forward to that immensely.
Am I drooling? I can't. I need a napkin.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for me, guys.
Yeah. So, check out that last episode streaming Wednesday and then join us back here on Saturday if you get some downtime in Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And yes, of course, our Christmas episode, we will be dropping an episode of Fandom Power Christmas Day, December 25th. So if you're sitting around the tree
trying to get over that turkey coma,
you've opened up your presents and you want
may or may not be a cat attack in it.
Maybe.
Please join us for that. Christmas Day. I hope you guys enjoy that and do have a Merry Christmas or an enjoyable holiday, whatever you choose to celebrate.
There.
That's it too. Yeah. All right, guys. For Fandom Power, my name is Wes.
I'm Andy.
Hank.
And we'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.